Okay, so if you've seen the title, then you kind of know what I'm going to be talking about. I'm kind of using this project as an excuse to like talk about where I would draw the line on real music, what's real, I guess. And to do that, I'm going to be kind of looking at to what extent technology has aided the musical process. I kind of got this idea because I was doing some research and I saw this one video by Rick Beato where he just kind of was like basically shitting on new music. So I'm gonna get into it. I'm gonna pull some case studies out and kind of use those case studies to test out the arguments that he made in a video. Cool. Before I do that though, I do have to put you on some game. The DAW. What is the DAW? When I talk about the case studies, this is what I'm going to be talking about. The DAW is the digital audio workstation. And basically, this is just the technology that you use to make music. This could be like a software on your device, or it could be like a full like standalone technology. You can record instruments on it, you can layer sounds together, you can mix and master, you can basically, it's trying at least to help you in every step. From the beginning, the thought, the idea, to the final execution, to you're gonna share it with others. I'm just gonna go through a bit of DAWs in the past and where it's going in the future. So one of the arguments that Rick Beato actually made was how computer music lost that human touch to it as you lose people actually playing the instruments.
Then you pretty much have sterile, generic, quantized rock music that has no vibe at all.
And I just want to dismiss that argument really quickly with one of like the greatest innovations made in the history of music, the MPC instrument. And it could basically be used by anyone, but I'm going to be getting into like hip hop producers because I think those were the people that were primarily using the MPC instruments anyways. But yeah, the MPC could be used for a lot of things, but mostly how hip hop producers would use the MPC would be to like, they would chop up the sample, add drums to it, and then maybe a cool bass line. That's obviously an extreme generalization of how this instrument was used, but that's just to give you like a good idea of what you could do with this. Okay, now, one of the arguments that Rick Beato says is that digitally arranged drums do not have human touch to it. And he attributes this to quantization. So what's quantization? In simplest terms, it's just the snapping of the drums, like the sounds on the drum, to the grid with the tempo. So you're basically just getting your drums to play exactly on beat. So do I agree that quantization destroys the human appeal to it? Well, so Ninth Wonder purposely creates this drum loop that he then quantizes because he uses that quantization to help him create a feel, and now we can get the sample chops down. And then I'll get into my second point. Dilla was actually a producer that was like known for not quantizing his drums. He was known for always keeping the drums swinging, mixing it between that feel of being on beat and then also just getting completely around it. He was kind of known for that unquantized feel of it. And on this song, you can actually hear the sample chops are not even quantized. Like you could hear the space between every sample chop when he starts to slow things down, and then he picks up the pace again. So, in my opinion, I wouldn't say quantization is something that has to do with something being real music or not. That technology has helped you with, snapping things to grid with the tempo. Because even without technology, without the DAW, you could still have a drummer that's purposely trying to play exactly on beat, and then someone who's trying to give it a little bit more swing. Even without technology, people will still choose how quantized they want to make their drums. And I think the only difference is that with technology, it makes it easier. Not necessarily that, because I think Rick Beato, what he's thinking is that if you're producing music with computers, then it's a necessity that your drums have to be quantized. All computer music has quantized drums. But I'd say at the end of the day, that's just an artistic choice, and technology is there to help you, whether or not you want to do it, and to the extent that you want to quantize your drums. Now we're going to get into software on your laptops. I could kind of talk to you about Logic Pro X, Ableton, but I'd actually just want to show you something, and I'd actually give you an actual example of how you can use a DAW. If I click this here, this DAW can basically layer a bunch of instruments together. You could have any software instrument, like you could have drums that go along with it. You got mics, and you also have guitars. And you can even get guitars and drums just from the software instruments. So you technically don't even need these two. All right, but that's that. I kind of made this instrumental. I was just studying in the library one day, and then I kind of heard this, like, the printer kept going off. I'm like, hold up, this is kind of fire. So this was the printer sound that I used. It goes like this. And then after I had that printer sound, then I'm like low-key thinking, okay, like some stuff would work well with this. So then I'm like, okay, then I'm thinking of a bass line in my head. So then I add this bass over here. Now I'm thinking, like, I gotta have some drums in. And also that drum's gotta have some swing to it. So I gotta play it in a way that kind of has some swing. So I put these drums together. And then after that, I'm thinking, okay, now I just kind of want some subtle synthesizer in the background to kind of, give some more breath into this. So then I was thinking of this. So then, altogether, this DAW has allowed me to basically emulate all these sounds to make a bass and also make drums. And I didn't have to actually play drums myself. I didn't actually have to play the bass. I just got this keyboard here. If you see like how the keyboard is being pressed, that's kind of how I played it when I was recording it. So in my opinion, I really think that DAWs kind of help with creativity and kind of help with ideas. Because otherwise, I would have to find a drummer, and I would have to find, someone that plays the bass. I'd have to hire them, or maybe find someone through connections and get them to play this stuff so I can make this beat together. And that would obviously take like a good amount of time, but instead I was able to make this in a couple of days because this DAW gave me the space to really just put these ideas into actual sound, and I can get the beat done. So yeah, I know Rick Beato said that they kind of, it just makes the music process a lot easier, and therefore it's not like because you're doing less work, it's not going to be as good. But in my opinion, I think the acceleration of the process and, cutting down the number of people you have to go to, like, oh, can you play this for me? Can you play this for me? You can kind of just do it yourself. And together, now it sounds like this. DAWs being extremely accessible and anyone being able to make music is a good thing. Yeah. Okay. And then we get to like the last case study that I want to talk about, and that would be just...
But again, I'm just going to click instrumental, and then it's as simple as clicking generate.
Yeah. So these are called, from what I searched up, these are called generative audio workstations. So basically just DAWs that use AI. And I feel like this is where a lot of people draw the line, like this is not real music, we are just stealing from other artists. And honestly, I used to think this too, but my opinion has kind of changed. I'll give some song examples where I genuinely think the use of AI has kind of been interesting.
Turn on the light. Some of you niggas be talking right out of the side of your neck, and I can't believe that to be gas in these little hoes. Some of you niggas be sitting around all day hating on niggas they never met. I just feel sad for you, little bro. Turn on the light. I'm looking for her.
I just think it's so creative how this guy literally found a song. It's a future song that was put into AI to turn into like a soulful, the blues kind of vibe. And then he uses that, samples it, literally layers that over just like this very smooth rap flow. I feel like that's really creative. And the guitar that he does over it is just really incredible. I think it's just crazy how much Future's song has evolved through AI into this completely new and like very soulful project. I guess it does have AI, but the way that JPEG Mafia handled it is with such care that it's genuinely such an interesting song. So yeah, I honestly think that there is no line on where we could draw real music, because at the end of the day, you know, the aid of technology is just gonna increase and increase into the musical process. And like every technological innovation or like every advancement in technology, it's always a gift and a curse. People who's gonna exploit that are they're already exploiting it now anyways. So yeah, I'm honestly not really against the use of any amount of technology in music as of right now. Art, at the end of the day, is just human expression, and you know, no matter how much technology has aided you in that process, as long as you're saying something that's yourself and the ideas, you know, really come from a place within, then, I mean, we create what we want, and yeah, that's just my thoughts on the matter. And yeah, that's it. I guess that's the assignment. Maybe it's not, I really don't know. All right, peace.